Hey, it's Lauren. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm doing a video all about on-the-go beauty, just my go-to on-the-go. I mentioned in my favorites video how I really enjoy carting around the Josh Rosebrook Hydrating Accelerator, how if I have a long day, I'll toss this in my bag. And I also kind of reference like skincare, snacks, article, and just like little things like that. So I thought I would share my go-to items for not just beauty and skincare that I'll take with me, but also just like life things that make my day easier depending on the day. Of course, I don't take all of these things with me all the time. It just kind of depends on the day. And I actually have this dedicated drawer that I keep a lot of that stuff in. As I like change out my purse, I'll put them back in here and so on and so forth. So I'll start out actually talking about the Josh Rosebrook Hydrating Accelerator. Get that out of the way. It has a wonderful, wonderful scent. I find that it doesn't interfere with my makeup. In fact, I find that it actually refreshes. It is aloe based and it has a lot of different oils. And in the past also, I have carted around the Pharmacy Skin Dew. I got a little mini of this many years ago and used it all up. And I saved the bottle though because it's an even more perfect size than this one for carting around. And I'll just fill it with whatever spray I am into at the moment. I filled it with, what have I filled it with in the past? Various rose, like the Heritage Store rose water spray, as well as the Leahlani one, and then right now in it is the remnants of the one that I really love from Botanical, the Calming Elixir. And then this one is one that I will bust out in the summer. It's the Avene thermal water, and it is just spray water in an aerosol-y type can, but this is more of like a heat relief. I picked up a bunch of these at City Pharma when I was in Paris many years ago, because this is so handy when it is stupid hot out and you're walking around, especially as a tourist. The way these cans are, these tins, just keeps everything so cold, and the spritz on this is just like so perfectly fine. Also, it is a spritz, but it is actually a hand sanitizer. I've mentioned this in the past, and I'm not entirely certain how to say this, if it is JOA or JAO, and they have this refresher that is a hand sanitizer. I pretty much try and keep this on me unless I have a very tiny purse. It's a hand sanitizer. I live in a big city. Key. Definitely something I also take with me traveling as a tourist and like airplanes and things like that. And it's multi-purpose. You can use it for zits and like to refresh under your arm. And then also in terms of skincare, I have in the past carried around like different roller balls for like zits. So I really liked the blemish stick from Indie Lee. I used a lot. And now I've been using the blemish stick from Glossier. It's been quite handy. And I'm like, I feel like something coming up. And this one is actually a benzoyl peroxide one, and it's more of like a cream, and it does have like a roller ball dispenser, but since it's more of a cream than a liquid, I don't find that it's like leaking. I'm really finicky about hand creams. I can find that they feel super greasy very easily, so I've really loved these little tiny tins. It's just this nice thick cream that really does the job, and I love the size of these. When there's like some sort of sale going on, I buy these in like a handful to have around, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I know that they make a bigger tub. I'm gonna buy that and depot it and put it in this. That would be a much more value situation and less waste. Anyways, that is on my brain to do in the future. And I also really like different salves. This one is just like an all healing one, and then there's like calendula one. This one has some sunscreen, and then there's another one that's kind of like a tiger balm, like for muscle ache. I can't find that one. I think it's lost somewhere in my car. I also have one that I also cannot find that is for bug bites, and that's actually from Kings Road Apothecary during mosquito season. It really helps with the itch. And I mentioned how I had like a Tiger Balm muscle related one. I actually have a mini Tiger Balm. It's like the most mini of Tiger Balms. If you're unfamiliar, Tiger Balm is kind of like an icy hot. Do not get it anywhere near your eyes, it'll burn. And then also, this is one I got in Thailand a few years back that is quite similar. I suffered a scooter accident being an idiot, and I had to load up on some first aid items, and I picked this up at the time. In terms of like scent sort of things, this is the newer one, but this is my old school one. So this is the Demamule Altitude Oil, which is kind of like a modern play on smelling salt. So it's supposed to be uplifting and kind of, well, re-energizing in a way. It smells absolutely lovely. And then this is super old, but it's still kicking. I think this is from Fig and Yarrow. It's completely worn away. I've had this thing for years. It's really nice and refreshing. If you are on a plane and it's a little bit stinky, I will either have this. I used to just have this nearby and look like a crazy person sniffing this, but now what I'll do is I'll have like a scarf and I'll dip a little bit of this guy on the scarf, lightly wrap it around my face, and then I do not smell whatever scents might be happening, usually since I'm usually in the back close to the bathroom. Moving on, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about actual beauty related stuff now. I got kind of the skincare and wellness stuff out of the way right away. Also in my favorites video, I mentioned the Essential Lip Enhancer from Jouer. This is really good for just being like a non-super glossy lip gloss, as well as being conditioning, moisturizing, and kind of bringing a lipstick back to life. And then the GlossierBalm.coms. I really like the BirthdayBalm.com. I think this is my most used and very, very worn one. It has a little bit of sparkles on it, and it just smells really good. It smells like birthday cake. And then more recently, I got the CoconutBalm.com. It smells like coconut, and I'll also use this on my cuticles if they are really dry. I don't use this anywhere else, like on my face. I'll use it a little bit on my lips and on my cuticles. I know people used to kind of put it all over when it first came out, and I find that this will oxidize makeup if I'll use it like as a skin salve with makeup. But in a pinch, if like elbows or anything like that is dry and I don't have a cream, these can be really handy. And then I have a few lipsticks that are handbag staples in a way that just kind of always I find I'm like, oh, where is that lipstick? Oh, it's still in my purse. So one for sure is Lancome 277. It's a little bit kind of like a muted rosy brown. This is probably my most worn, or one of my most worn nude lipsticks. It's a very hydrating formula. It's not one of the matte ones, so it has a nice shine. And then this I'm actually wearing right now. This is a lip product that grew on me. This is one of the Surratt Le Baton Rouge. I love the size of it. It looks like a pencil. And I got this last holiday season, and I was kind of unsure about it, but like I said, it grew on me. So it's dual-ended. One side is this kind of like lip pencil-esque shape, and it's like a nice satin, like medium finish. And then the other end is a lip powder. This is really great to then feather it out and either do like a blotted lip or just make it more matte. And then also I am no stranger to a Glossier Cake. It's definitely my most used out of the Generation G lipsticks. It's just like a My Lips but better, as well as Leo. I think this is my other favorite one, and it's definitely more of a brown color. I just heard they reformulated, so I don't know how they compare yet. I often have on me the Lila B bronzing brush. I love that it has a case to keep it from getting gross in my purse. I like this to touch up my makeup, whether it's with concealer or with powder. And then in terms of powder, lately I've been carting around the Laura Geller. It's actually their color correcting foundation. In the past, we cart around the Bourjois pressed powder, which I really like, but that actually breaks super easily, and this one has held up. I like the casing of this, although it's kind of bulky, so it's not something that I'll carry around in a smaller purse. So also, if you have a slimmer compact powder that you really like, also let me know about that. I was trying to get the Charlotte Tilbury one during the the VIB sale, but it was sold out, and it's still sold out. But also kind of base related, I'll often cart around some sort of concealer. In the past, I have really liked the Milk Concealer. It is a thinner consistency, a cream thinner consistency, but it actually is quite impactful in its coverage, and because it's more fuller coverage, it can act like a base. So if I've had a really long day and my base is getting kind of funky, I can like put this on really quickly, like it's more foundation if I need to like touch up before I'm going out. But lately I've been carting around the Hourglass Veil Retouching Fluid, which is actually quite different than the Milk. This though is actually really great for, well, like melding foundation back together. Like it says, it's the retouching fluid. So if things have gotten a little bit weird around my nose, which is one of the areas that often happens for me, or like along here, you seem to be, well, this whole area, you know, seems to be an area where things kind of move around throughout the day. This helps bring life back to that. And I do actually really like how hydrating it looks. So if I found that I've gotten a little cakey or a little worn down looking, if I just put a little bit right here and under here later in the day, it just kind of helps brighten things up. And then if my day is going to be pretty long and I need to touch up my makeup later, or if I've just gotten up and don't have much time and I need to do my makeup on the go, there's a couple products that I find that I will throw in my purse over others. The 1/1 duo tones are something that I can just throw on with my fingers and blend in. I don't need a brush. They aren't like the longest lasting, and they're definitely more of like a no makeup product, but I love the sort of fresh effect that they have. I have like a full face of these that I did several months back that I'll link, and it has swatches of all of them, but I like the ones that are the bronzer and blush duos the best. And then also these guys, these were such a moment and have since disappeared, but I still use mine all the time. And it is the Bite Beauty multi-stick in the color Biscotti. This is something that I can use on my lips, can use on my cheeks, I can even use it as on my eyes. So it's like a full-on great all-purpose product. And then I have mentioned many times on my channel the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette. This is also something that is just super easy to use, really effortless, and if I'm on the go, I can just throw all of these on my face and not think about it, because they all go well together. They're all really easy to blend. And then in terms of perfume, I've gone kind of depending on what my mood is. I have a bunch of samples of the Nest perfumes, the minis, and I really like the Black Tulip, as well as, oh, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it is the citrus one. Those ones are really great. I actually have a bunch of the Glossier U samples. I have the full one, which I'll spray, but I don't know if they still give out these little vials. They used to send these when you would request the Glossier U sample on there, but now they've been sending these like card things. I actually have it in the Glossier U solid bag, which I like carting around solid perfumes because they're not going to spill, but the Glossier U solid is in a heavy metal casing, so it's actually super heavy. I hope you enjoyed this random little video. I'd love to know if there's any like go-to items that you find that you cart around, specifically things that are more than just like powder or a lipstick. Like what is like something kind of weird but helpful that you find yourself bringing a lot, as well as like the normal stuff that people cart around, especially powder, as I am in the market for a new solid powder, not a loose powder, because that never travels well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't new, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.